going on, guys? Ben here with Strong Insurance, and today we are going to discuss passing and preparing for your DOT audits. We're going to look at the 4 types of audits first, and then we will go through a few different things that you can do to make sure your company is prepared to pass these audits when they come due. So, out of the gate, we're going to look at new entrant safety audits. These are audits that are performed on all new entrants that get DOT numbers. It's usually within the first 12 months that you're going to see this new entrant safety audit. After that, you're going to have compliance reviews periodically. These are just going to make sure that you're compliant with the FMCSA regulations and that nothing is awry there. These are often triggered by poor safety measurement. The worse things look, the more likely you are to get audited. Then we're going to have focused audits. Focused audits are going to be a scenario where there's an apparent issue with, we'll say, hours of operation or hours of service. There's a ton of hours of service violations. They may do a focused audit. They're just going to come in and they're going to look at hours of service only. Maybe they look at something else while they're there, but those are focused audits. And then we're going to have accident investigation audits. They're exactly what those sound like. They're conducted after any major accident to make sure that your driver was, compliant, that your truck was compliant, that your company in general is compliant. So those are the 4 primary DOT audits that you're going to run into. So now let's look at some things that you can do to either prepare for on the short term or the long term to ensure that you guys are ready to pass these things when they come up. So filing and organization of files is paramount. So making sure that your driver qualifications are, your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted there, your applications, med certs, driving records, training records from the history of being with your company. Everything that you have on that driver needs to be accessible quickly and organized. And then obviously your hours of service logs, those are paramount. Everyone should have good records there. So we have ELDs now that are basically streamlining that process. So making sure that those are on point. Your vehicle maintenance records, they don't hurt to have if you have a single place per truck where you can store this information to show tires were done, tires were rotated, tires were this, that, or the other, brakes were this, that, or the other, making sure that you have maintenance records. Not only are those good for a DOT inspection, but those are good for you to have and maintain as well, especially, down the road, selling trucks and buying trucks and things like that. Kind of back to the driver side a little bit here, your driver drug and alcohol screening, making, whether you're using a third party or not, getting those files in-house and in your file management system, doesn't matter what that is paramount. One of the biggest things we see on the insurance side is just non-compliance. It's not failed drug and alcohol. It's just non-compliance. And non-compliance in the insurance industry looks just as bad as a failed, realistically. A lot of times we get declined by carriers, really good carriers that are offering really competitive insurance premium rates because we have non-compliance just due to a hiccup or doing things just slightly incorrectly. So, and then accident reports, making sure that you document accidents anytime they do occur. Doesn't matter if your truck runs into a fuel island and that's the only thing damaged is your truck, you still need to document that accident. I don't care if it was turned into the insurance company or not, still document that accident for your records. There's no reason not to. And these DOT audits, they're probably going to want to see them. So one of the ways that you can ensure that you are doing a good job of this is you can do internal audits, right? Especially your fleets. If you're 2 trucks to 200 trucks, it really doesn't matter. Everyone can do this, but especially your 30, 40, 50, 200, 300 truck operations, do an internal audit, do a mock audit, have someone play a DOT officer, go Google what they're going to ask for in these audits or watch a video like this and figure out what they're going to be looking for. And do a little test, make sure that whoever's in charge of your documentation for these audits is able to pull up that information quickly, easily, and it's organized. That's the biggest thing, is organization is key here. So, and then identify the gaps in those, mock or internal audits and start fixing them right away. So that's one thing that you can definitely do that will help big time. And then of course you can train your team for compliance. Making sure that your hours of service, like I said, it's handled by ELDs, but that your drivers are reporting this properly. They know how to report it properly. They know how to use their ELD. The ELD is not good if they don't know how to use it. That's the biggest thing, is training these guys on the ELDs. Vehicle inspections, making sure that you have pre-trip inspections and post-trip inspections. And if you have the ability within your ELD or any other service provider application to have a checklist that they have to go through and check, and then it reports as pre-trip inspection complete or post-trip inspection complete. Do it. It's a godsend to have that information right there. Accident reporting. This is a big one. Making sure everyone either has a checklist, once again, even if it's in a binder in the truck, some sort of checklist on the processes and procedures that your company holds your drivers to when it comes to reporting accidents. Obviously call the authorities. Then you call our office and let us know. Then you call, dispatch, dispatch, and let them know that your load's running late or may not make it at all, depending on how bad the accident is. Having processes and procedures in place and getting your drivers trained is key. And then, of course, drug and alcohol policies, making sure that these guys are understanding of your processes and procedures when it comes to drug and alcohol compliance, and that they're going to have to take tests and this, that, and the other. Most people know that if they're holding a CDL, but you might have a little bit different rules or do it a little bit differently than the company they just left. So making sure you have that information and then you guys know where to store the drug and alcohol is going to be huge. And then it's audit day. So now what do? Once again, organizing records is going to be key. Having all of the requested documentation up front, knowing right where to get to it when they ask for it, is going to make you look 10 times better than having the audit happening or anything like that, and you've got to go dig around for 3 hours to find one document. Having one designated point of contact isn't a terrible idea if you can. Whoever is handling all of that documentation should probably be the person who does the audit. It does no good if you have a secretary who does all of this documentation, but then you have the owner who comes in and has no idea where to find that documentation. So it's not terrible if you need to have a secretary and an owner or something like that do these together, but having one point of communication will definitely help the audit go a little bit smoother. And then stay professional. Some of these questions they might ask or things they request might kind of peeve you off, but just stay professional. It's going to help you in the long run. They might not be as harsh if you're nice. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, ask questions. If you don't know the answer to what they're asking or don't understand quite what they're asking in the audit, make sure that you clarify with them so you understand exactly what it is that they're requesting from you. So we've made it through the audit. Now, what do we do post-audit? We're going to review the report. We're going to understand the areas of non-compliance. If you don't understand the areas of non-compliance, once again, ask questions. If you don't understand it, how are you going to fix it for the next audit? So making sure you understand the areas of non-compliance, and then once you understand it, build a corrective action plan. Figure out, if it's hours of service that are an issue, put some more driver training in place around how to use the ELD and log their hours and do this, that, and the other. If it's vehicle maintenance, then make sure that our pre-trip inspections and post-trip inspections are being done properly, and then implement those changes. Those changes that you make, that corrective action plan, is only as good as the paper you wrote it on if you don't get it implemented by the drivers, by the office staff, by everyone involved in that situation. So those are some key things you can do to prepare and pass these DOT audits on a regular basis. If you would like to learn more about the insurance industry or the trucking industry as a whole, please give us a like, follow, and as always, keep it rubber side down.